Good afternoon, Cedarfield family. Hope all is well with you today on this fine January 11th at 3 o'clock. Those of you that are listening live here at the community, we appreciate you taking time out. And if you're listening to this video tonight as well, thank you for taking time out of your life to listen to some information about Cedarfield. First, thought we'd talk a little bit about the current situation by the numbers. I have one brief announcement after that to talk about COVID-19 vaccine education. And then we'll get into a little bit more about the rollout of our Walgreens plan. And then we'll answer any and all questions here. So it should be a relatively short live chat here on Monday, unless there are some multiple questions coming in. So first, the 7-day positivity rates that we have our eye on, that we've had our eye on here for the last several months. Just a couple of moments ago, I downloaded some of the information, which is actually updated from data at 5 o'clock the day before. So our 7-day positivity rate here in the Commonwealth of Virginia is at 16.6, and that is an increase from Friday, a slight increase. Central Virginia is at 21.7. That is an increase from 21.2. Enrico County has a slight increase as well of 15.4 from 15.2. Richmond went down a little bit from 12.4 to 12. And Chesterfield also went down slightly from 17.1 to 16.7. Hopefully, folks have had a chance to read a memo that we published over the weekend regarding some of the data. That way people actually have a piece of paper they're able to reflect on. If anybody has any questions about the data, specifically we published COVID-19 positive cases in and around the community. In the healthcare area, our north neighborhood, we have 2 positive cases of COVID-19 with the residents. In central neighborhood, we have 2 positive cases with the residents. And in healthcare in general, we have 3 positive team members as well, one from actually each neighborhood. So in our healthcare area right now, we have a total of 7 positive cases. The good news with all of those, for those that are interested, which I hope would be everyone, that all 7 of those individuals are doing okay right now. Some mild symptoms, but nothing that is giving us alarm as a result of maybe an acute care setting for those 7. So keep those 7 folks in your thoughts and prayers, and we would appreciate that, and get a speedy recovery here. Looks like on the outer limit, we have to go through about 9 more days, and then these folks will cycle off of their 14-day isolation period. We do have still 5 people that are under quarantine up in the healthcare area. In assisted living, we had one team member who became positive over the weekend. There are no residents that in assisted living that are positive, and then there are no other tests that are pending. And in Sunshine Plaza, there are 0 cases down in Sunshine Plaza with residents or team members. So Sunshine Plaza's dashboard is green. We are still contact tracing the 1 positive case in assisted living, and so quite sure what color our dashboard is in assisted living. It all is going to depend on this contact tracing here in the next few hours. And our healthcare area is definitely red at this point. Speaking of healthcare, last week, since we had that one positive case pop up on Tuesday, on Wednesday of last week, we conducted what we call a weekly testing of every resident and every team member, and we facilitated that test on Wednesday of last week. We conducted 118 tests last week, which is why and how we found these other positives up in and around that area. So we will continue to test weekly all the residents and all the team members who live and work in one of the 3 neighborhoods in healthcare until we are 14 days free of any positive cases. So everybody needs to cycle off, and so we'll continue that weekly testing to prove out that, that we have kicked COVID to the curb up on the 4th floor. In independent living, things have not changed since we reported this data on Friday. We have the main building, we have 0 positive cases, and we have 0 positive cases with either residents or team members here in the main building. In the cottages, we have 2 positive resident cases and 1 positive team member case. And so we are monitoring a couple of people for different signs and symptoms. That number is 7 here in independent living. And we have one person under quarantine for a variety of reasons. So I think the main building, our dashboard is green, and for the most part, I believe that our dashboard is green in the cottages, since this is an isolated case in the cottages. So if anybody has any questions about this dashboard, please refer to your memo that we placed in your cubby box or mailbox on Sunday morning maybe. And the only difference between this data that I'm sharing with you today and that memo over the weekend is that we had an additional positive case pop up here in assisted living, and we're contact tracing that event. In terms of, we've been talking a lot about educate, vaccinate, and celebrate, those 3 words here in the last month: educate, vaccinate, and celebrate. In terms of education, Dr. Wright, Jim Wright, who happens to be a member of River Road Presbyterian Church, he's a medical director for a few nursing homes in the area, namely Our Lady of Hope and Westminster Canterbury. And he has put together a 40-minute PowerPoint video type of presentation that is now available to all the residents and team members. If you go on to www.mycedarfield.com, and once you get into that specific site, if you go over to the coronavirus update icon, which is that yellow one all the way to the left-hand side, you will see the presentation. It's labeled Dr. Jim Wright presentation. Again, it's about 40 minutes, and it is probably one of the best videos that I have seen to date. He talks about the vaccine in terms of a tool to fight this enemy. He calls it our World War II enemy right now. And he's really talking to the healthcare professionals, the staff members that work in and around our industry, in nursing homes, assisted living communities, and retirement communities around the Commonwealth. So the presentation is aimed at the team members. but it's such great information. I think everyone should really take a look at it. Again, it's 40 minutes, and it's just very well done, very factual information. So it's posted there if you want to go on and review it. Those team members that are watching tonight and or today, I sent that link out. It's a YouTube link to all the team members over the weekend, and we also just sent it to everyone's email address as well. So that presentation is definitely out there for those that need it, want it, or those of you that want a refresher on what is the most information available to us at this point. So, okay, and then this very exciting news about the rollout. This is our celebration week. We're just so, I know many are just so incredibly excited about this week, which is another memo that we posted this weekend to give a little bit more clarity to the dates that are scheduled from Walgreens here at Cedarfield. I hope many people had a chance, I hope you all had a chance, residents in healthcare, assisted living, independent living, and team members reading your emails. Hope you all had a chance to read this memo. For those of you that had not a chance to read it, and the memo still left people with some questions, I'm going to try to just go down this memo real quick, because many people said they haven't received it, or it was a little bit confusing. So bear with me, because there's 6 dates that take us into actually March, so that we can be rest assured that all team members and residents have a chance to be have a chance to receive the vaccine. When Walgreens comes to Cedarfield, they set up what they call is a clinic. And when they set up a clinic, they set up 3 dates for 1 clinic. So Walgreens is coming to Cedarfield with 2 clinics in mind. The first clinic will commence this Thursday on the 14th, where every resident in healthcare, the 3 neighborhoods in healthcare, and every team member across the entire community will have access to the vaccine. We are anticipating to provide the vaccine for about 300 people here on Thursday, which is just great news. On February 4th, Walgreens will come back and will provide the 2nd dose of the Pfizer vaccine for those of us that will receive it here on Thursday. And on February 4th, they will provide a first round of the Pfizer vaccine for anyone that misses the January 14th date. And then again, part of that clinic, they'll come back on February 25th and provide the 2nd dose for anyone that received the first dose on February 4th. So all that's outlined in that memo or the email that team members have received. The 2nd clinic that Walgreens is coming to Cedarfield on starts on January 22nd, which is next Friday. That clinic is designed for all the residents who live in assisted living, all the residents who live in memory support, and every resident that lives in independent living in the main building, and every resident that lives in the cottages. So that's the 2nd clinic. It starts on January 22nd. Walgreens will come back 21 days later on February 12th to administer the 2nd dose for those folks that received their first dose on January 22nd. During that 2nd visit, they will provide the first round for anyone that happened to miss the January 22nd date. And then they'll come back for a 3rd time on March 5th to conclude that clinic for that group of people. If any resident or any team member, any family, any power of attorney has a question about this, please feel free to reach out to administration or the wellness clinic, any director that is on the leadership team, or any neighborhood leader or clinical leader up in healthcare or in assisted living, or you can certainly feel free to reach out to Connie McGowan, our infection control nurse. We're all on the same page at this point about what these dates represent and who these dates are designed for. So again, we tried to make it as simple as possible in this memo. The vaccines will start at 9 o'clock and they will run all the way through until they're complete. We know now on Thursday that the clinic that they're running this Thursday, they're actually coming with 5 pharmacists. And so because of that, if they want to get out of here maybe somewhere around 5 or 6 o'clock at night, that equates to about 7 vaccines per pharmacist per hour. And so, so we think we can get that done. We just met a few hours ago to talk about some of the other logistics that we need to put in place to make that a reality for Walgreens. And so they've given us some instructions of how they want to see the flow of the day, and we're working within those instructions to make it a reality. Again, it's educate, vaccinate, celebrate. So on Thursday, you will see balloons, you will see banners. Out on Three Chop Road, we have some Card My Yard type of events going outside there to let the general public know that we've started to vaccinate. For those that are driving into the community, create some goodwill and some cheer. And we just published to the team members of Cedarfield a flyer of the events for today, including walking into the fellowship hall here on the red carpet, celebrating that medical science has reached Cedarfield, and everyone's going to receive I proudly received the COVID-19 vaccine sticker. So it should be a fun day. It's an important day. And then we'll do the same thing. We intend to celebrate again on January 22nd, because that's the first time that over 500 people will have the chance to get the vaccine. And so for this Thursday, we're going to divide up the 5 pharmacists. For those family members that are listening to this video tonight, we're going to have actually 2 of the pharmacists go up to the 4th floor, the 3 neighborhoods, and they're actually going to go door to door to provide the vaccine for the residents in healthcare, and then they're going to set up the great room upstairs for all the team members to utilize to get the vaccine. And then down here in Fellowship Hall, any team member that does not work in healthcare, we're going to divide out systematically different departments to come at different times on Thursday here in Fellowship Hall. And so since we have a very healthy number of people that are going to get the vaccine next Friday on the 22nd, which is the Walgreens second clinic, they're going to rely on us about how to get that done. I don't quite know how many pharmacists yet are coming to that specific clinic. But a couple of moments ago when we were talking about rolling this out on the January 22nd date, we are thinking maybe instead of just utilizing Fellowship Hall, that we actually have a couple of other different posts around the community, and maybe divide up the main building here and the cottages, and set up maybe a few different locations so that the pharmacists can deliver those vaccines in a couple different locations. So more information as we learn lessons this week about how we intend to actually roll out the vaccine on January 22nd. The epidemiologist did want me to mention something in our effort to educate that the COVID-19 vaccine experts are all in agreement at this point that the kinds of genetic change mutations that we see across the globe, especially the one that just happened overseas, and then we found out that that mutation is here in the United States from somebody who actually hasn't been traveling, that we, the healthcare community, believes that the Pfizer vaccine that we are receiving here and then on Thursday and throughout the next several weeks are expected to be as effective in protecting people from this new strand of virus. So there is nothing out there that suggests from the epidemiologists and the CDC that that strand is a very different strand and this vaccine would not protect people. So as I receive more information from Walgreens and as we develop plans to roll out, we will definitely use this Monday, Wednesday, Friday live chat at 3 o'clock and or other memos to get out the word about how we're providing the vaccine. So any and all questions, just please reach out. There is no elementary question. More questions that are coming at us, the more we know that people are educated and comfortable about how we intend to roll out these next several dates. So I think that's all for me. Unless Renee, do you have any questions pop in?
Yes.
I have a couple of questions that popped in. First question that came in, yes, if you look on the Touchtown, mycedarfield.com website, and then you go into that coronavirus icon, that yellow one, and at the top it says quick glance dashboard. We have updated that dashboard now. So those of you that are looking at that dashboard, apologize for publishing an incorrect one on Friday. It is now updated. Second question that came in is, since we are providing the vaccine for so many people here on Thursday, are you going to need parking spaces up in the front of the main building? And the answer is yes, we will. There is about a third of the people who will be receiving the vaccine here in the fellowship hall that are coming to Cedarfield off shift. And so we're going to designate a couple of parking spaces out front for that purpose. So those residents that have their car permanently parked out here, could you please begin? There's 17 cars that are out front. Could you please, over the course of this week, park your car outside of D-Wing so that we can have room up here to help facilitate this very important day. And we would be most appreciative. Thank you very much. Another question that came in. Gatehouse changes, please explain, and when will it start? So we do have intention to change the gatehouse protocol. Right now, the security officer is taking your temperature and then asking you for 4 different diagnoses. And that is one layer of protection. We are working with the Virginia Department of Health on finalizing a screening instrument that we hope to roll out this week. And the main thing that we're trying to help is to help educate the security officers on how to use this screening instrument so we don't have a large backup of cars at the gatehouse. The main difference is going to be they're going to take your temperature, and they're not just going to recite your temperature back to you. They're going to actually have to record your temperature, and they're recording who is actually getting their temperature, who they're getting the temperature from, and then they're going to keep that document for 14 days. And so it's a little bit more of a lengthy process, but like I said, we're going to try to work with the Virginia Department of Health and the gatehouse on good training so that there isn't a long line up at the gatehouse. In addition to, they have 2 other questions to ask and a couple of more different symptoms to ask to make sure that they're really holistically capturing what might somebody be experiencing as a reason to catch that person, and have them come up here to the clinic to get tested actually for COVID-19. So that's one of our main priorities this week. Any other questions come in, Renee?
More reliable thermometers, can we get them?
The question is, can we get more reliable thermometers? That is a curveball you're throwing me right now. So whoever's asking that question, and since now we're asking the question to everybody, we'll look into more reliable thermometers. If those of the ones that we produced from the clinic, if I'm understanding the question correctly, we have specific disposable thermometers from the wellness clinic, and they may not be as reliable. So I'll get back to everybody on Wednesday about thermometers. What's that?
The shoot kind.
The shoot kind. Okay. So there's questions about thermometers up at the gatehouse probably. Any other questions? No? Eddie, do you have any other questions? Any other thing you can think of that I need to address? No? Okay. Alrighty. It is approaching 3:30. It's a really great week here at Cedarfield. Educate, vaccinate, celebrate. And the fact that we are trending towards 300 people getting vaccinated, providing the vaccine here on Thursday is just great news. Hopefully that gives another layer of comfort to everybody that we're heading in another direction. We're rounding the curve. Again, anybody have any questions, please reach out to the administration suite and we will answer any and all of your questions just as quick as we can. I hope you all have a great night here on January 11th. We'll resume our live chat on Wednesday at 3 o'clock. Until then, have a great couple of days. Enjoy this 50-degree weather. And we'll talk with you soon. Thank you.